Hello everyone, so I met another interesting person here in Belgrade, and she's originally also from Russia, but she lived in the US. So what's your name?
My name is Julia.
Yeah, so what are you doing in Serbia?
Escape in Schengen zone, sort of. I've heard a lot about Belgrade before from my friends, and when I was in Vienna, met some Serbian people, and was really interested in just coming here and checking it out.
How many countries did you visit before?
A lot, but about how many, it's about the quality of you visit. So, for example, I lived in Malaysia for 9 months. I lived in Morocco for 2.5 years.
Wow.
I traveled through Turkey for 3 months. Now I live in Vienna for the last 6 months.
Wow.
Other countries, I lived in Ukraine for 1 year, for example.
Cool.
I still go there to visit my mom. A lot of countries, for Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Croatia. I'm just trying to remember. Of course, US. In US, I lived in New York.
How long did you spend in the US?
17 years.
New York? Cool.
It was cool. It was cool, but now I'm sort of a bit over it. I want to see other places. And it was the best place to sort of study and be a student and explore.
And when you started to travel the world?
About 5-6 years ago. It actually wasn't the plan at all. I just wanted to visit my mom in Ukraine, and then I ended up in Georgia. And after Georgia, I went all around the Black Sea to Istanbul, so through Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, and you end up in Istanbul. And then from Istanbul, I fly to Thailand and did a little bit of Southeast Asia, like Malaysia for 9 months, and Vietnam 1 month, Thailand for about a month. Trying to see if I forget anything. And then I went back and I did Spain, from Barcelona to the south, to Andalusia, and then up to Portugal. And after that, I would go to Madrid, and from Madrid, take a bus down, Algeric, I forget the name of it, and I go to Morocco.
Cool.
And when I was in Morocco, COVID happened, and I stayed there, and it was really nice.
You had to stay there, yes.
And no, it was a choice. I was stuck there. I say I was stuck there, but it was totally voluntarily, and I loved it a lot. You know, it kind of feels like my home, like my second home sometimes, because people are so nice and kind, and they're more open. It's a more open culture, and I really love Morocco.
What's the best country, by the way, you think? I mean,
the best what?
The best country you visited.
The best country,
you think, in your opinion?
Oh my God, I can't all the countries are great in different ways.
Different ways, yes.
And I really appreciate diversity. I really wish maybe I could go back in time and travel 30 years ago, because now we are sort of becoming more homogeneous. You know, Starbucks is everywhere, and I'm looking for spots that are less sort of globalized. You know, for example, when I was in Turkey, I went to the east of Turkey, like Mardin, Hatay, Sanliurfa, Gaziantep, and it's a less explored part of Turkey. And it was really amazing because there's not a lot of tourists, and you can sort of dive into the culture. It's not diluted by sort of Western cultures yet, and you could see how people lived back in the day, and architecture, old architecture, and I think a lot of countries, I love Morocco, for example. Malaysia was great too, to go around the islands. It's really beautiful places.
So you don't have a particular country you think that it's better to live in? For you?
I mean, I just come from Vienna, and I really like Vienna. For it's a bit more socialist, and it's, for me, people would probably disagree, but it's kind of like a smaller New York, because you still have people from different countries. You can go eat any food you like. You could find spices to cook from different places. There is a lot of immigrant sort like
in Dubai, something like that.
Yeah, because I think maybe Vienna has less than 50% of people are actually Austrian in Vienna. I'm not really sure about the percentage exactly, but you have everybody, and it's kind of multinational and multicultural, but it has these common values. So, for example, people follow the same sort of rules. In the evening, it's quiet. Also, there is the party scene, the techno scene, or yeah, like rave culture and people. It was really nice to explore, to go to clubs there, to electronic music clubs, and people socialize still. What I loved about Vienna people is when they meet their friends, nobody pulls out their phones. People actually talk to each other. They discuss how their life is, how their day is. Maybe if they have some problems, they share about feelings. It's a very human experience, and I really like that. But right now, I'm really interested about Balkans.
Balkans,
yes. I lived in Croatia also for a year, and
like Serbia is the first. You
Croatia for a year, and I worked there, and I lived there, and it was really nice as well.
Nice, yes.
I love how green. For example, I lived a bit out in Zagreb, but the suburbs, and had just this national park right outside Medvednica. Right outside, and 5 minutes I could be in the woods and nature, and people are nice. They don't smile as much, let's say, compared to New York, to Americans that smile and how are you, but they actually wish you well.
Nice,
even if it's not a smile, they're very just kind, you know, at least that's what I experienced.
For how long you are in Serbia, by the way?
Serbia, just 1 week.
Just one week.
And
so, can you say your impression so far
I think
Serbia?
People are really nice.
Yeah.
I was super amazed. The hospitality, how people just want to help you, and in this calm way. It's not about it's
Polako way.
Polako, everything is Polako. And
Chilling.
I come here and I actually feel really peaceful. As if life is simpler and you don't need to overcomplicate things.
Yeah, sure.
And I like it. I like it a lot. And the people, the vibe here, it's just nice. People are nice.
Yeah, cool.
So far what I like is you could say something to people and they reply back. There is this back and forth exchange, and people are not shy, you know. They like to, because I lived in Odessa. I don't know if you ever...
Odessa, Ukraine, yes.
Odessa, Ukraine, and it's also a place where people just spontaneously talk and people reply and everybody starts to joke around, and there is this sense of humor, very specific. It's a bit specific to the location, and everybody's just trying to have a great time, you know. And the food is good, and it's cheaper than say Vienna, for example, and it's really nice. I haven't explored nature around yet, but in other places, I might go to Novi Sad soon. But it's really nice. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with the people.
I heard somewhere, or I read somewhere, just that Serbian people are among the happiest nations, in the world.
They seem like it. They seem like it, because everybody's just really it's not peaceful, but content? People are just content, and you enjoy, I don't know, sitting in the park or going through, and you guys socialize a lot, and every evening people go out maybe to there is this culture of just kind of like in Croatia, but you sit, you drink your coffee, or you socialize with your friends, and you feel a sense of community, and I think that's what makes you happy, this sense of community, because you could have sort of all the money in the world, you can be in a very posh, nice place, but if you feel like you don't have good people around you, then it's not worth much, you know? And for me, it's really become more important with age to be part of, to feel like I have a community around me and supportive people. Because when I was in New York, it was more about me, and ambition, and my, let's say, education, my career, my money, my mine, and you lose sort of touch with the community. But we are all we depend. It's interdependence. It's not,
we depend on each other.
And to be happy, and to for somebody to see you as a human, and you see them as a human, and you maybe have some maybe things you discuss on some your feelings, your emotions, and maybe some problems or your happy days, and you share, and makes me feel much, much happier.
So, as well, I want to ask you about your travel alone. I mean, you're a girl and you're traveling alone.
Yes.
And most of girls are like, they are afraid to travel alone. Can you tell about that experience?
It's really rewarding. Yes, as a solo female traveler, you kind of have to follow some rules. Not follow some rules, but be a little bit extra cautious and don't go to, let's say, places that might be dangerous, or sometimes I do go to places that might be, but you have to like, for example, one of the most important things is your body language. So if you're acting like if your body is and you're becoming small or you're not sure of yourself, people can read that and they will sort of approach you with maybe not the best intentions, but if your body language is strong and you're confident, sometimes I avoid even looking at my phone, like on the map, if I understand that somebody's watching me and I could be a tourist, you know. But also, it's a lot of fun. It's actually you experience like the world differently when you travel by yourself, because you end up in places where you would never end up if you traveled with your friends.
But for example, the country that was the most, I mean, you think, in your opinion, you visited, it was the most dangerous or most not that stable? I mean,
dangerous? No.
For girls?
It's not dangerous,
people,
but
travelers in general.
Okay, maybe the country is not dangerous, but people warned me about going to Morocco as a solo female traveler. It's a bit, could be, because of the cultural differences, you kind of have to know certain things. And you kind of, but you adjust, and it's really, for me, I didn't have like bad experiences. I had a lot of beautiful, amazing experiences in Morocco, and I recommend it to people. It's just that there are some stupid things you shouldn't do, and it depends, you know, what sort of people you meet. You have to adjust to different cultures. You have to understand that in some cultures, some things are acceptable and some things are not. This is the best advice, I think, that listen to the locals. Yes, do maybe read something online, maybe do read a little bit, but listen to the locals. If they tell you don't do something, don't. For example, I was in Turkey, in Izmir, and there is a mountain, and the locals told me, don't go there by yourself, especially in the evening. And I thought, oh, I'm an experienced traveler, you know, I will go there. I didn't listen. I was like, because why? It's Izmir, you know how I've been to like a lot of different places, and I did almost get robbed there. Like,
oh my God.
Almost. It didn't happen because I realized like I should turn back when I like, but it almost happened. But for example, how I ended up in Eastern Turkey, I was in Cappadocia, and I was really interested in exploring a bit more than just touristic parts. Like, I mean, Istanbul is a beautiful city, but I just wanted to see more and traditional stuff. And I asked locals, where do I go? And they said Mardin, Gaziantep, Urfa, Hatay. And like Mount Nemrut, for example, is like a must-visit place. But back then, if you go on an American website like Homeland Security, it was red zone, and they didn't advise, let's say, American citizens to even travel there. But I talked to most of the locals, like a lot of locals, and they told me there is no conflict anymore. The stuff is finished. It's safe there now. You can go. And I had a fantastic time. And it was safe. It wasn't a lot of tourists. It was truly like sort of you got into the culture. The food is amazing. Architecture is fantastic. People are friendly. And overall, it was one of my favorite. And I got to meet Sultan Kosem, the tallest man alive.
The tallest man.
Mardin, yes.
He's the tallest man alive.
The tallest man alive, yes.
And you have also an Instagram page, you said.
Yes, like, it's Travel with Jules. And I didn't update it for a while, but you can check out my travelwithjules.com
website.
It's a website, it's a blog.
Wow, cool.
I used to do a travel blog, and there I tell my story, how I met Sultan Kosem. It was totally unexpected. It was totally unexpected. I just woke up, had coffee in my hostel, the only hostel in Urfa, and there was another guy. He's like an Indian guy who was a doctor without borders. And he said, good morning. I said, good morning. And he was like, hey, would you like to go meet the tallest man alive?
Yeah.
And he tried to organize this meeting for 2 years. For 2 years, he tried to meet Sultan Kosen through different people. And that day, he actually had an appointment sort of to see him. And we went to see him in his house. And it was really a fantastic experience, especially that Sultan is such a nice person. You just had really nice conversations with him, and he's like, you could see like he's such a warm person, you know, and we could ask him questions, and we had a great, fantastic time.
Besides this tall man, who else, I mean, you remember from the countries you visited? Who else you also met? Maybe someone special you remember?
Someone special. Well, in New York, I've met Martin Scorsese.
Oh.
Like I saw, like when you were.
Who is that?
Martin Scorsese, Goodfellas. Oh my God, Casino. Like so many. He's like one of the.
Owner?
No, he's a movie director.
Movie director. Wow.
Martin Scorsese. But when you live in New York, for example, you meet some famous people, but you sort of don't.
Approach them.
You don't. You let them.
Interact with them.
You let them just have their own human experience.
Yeah.
You don't really like. You don't become a fan. You just let them. Let's say if you're in a restaurant, you let them eat. You know, you don't ask for selfie. It's kind of rude.
What are your plans in the future?
Our plans in the future.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite ones is the best plan is no plan, and that's how it's been because when I plan, for example, a lot of times it ends up not happening. Like, for example, when I was going to Southeast Asia, my first stop should have been Indonesia, and I really wanted to explore it for 3 months because it's such a beautiful country, which is full of, not just Bali, you know, it's full of like natural beauty, and it's an amazing culture. But boom, like it ended up being something else. And so every time I make a plan, it actually doesn't happen. So now I'm sort of open to the universe, and it's been sending me to all these interesting places that I never thought I would end up. So for example, I went to Hamburg from Morocco because my friends were there. And then from Hamburg, I ended up in Vienna because friends of my friends were there. And then after Vienna, I ended up in Zagreb and got a job there by accident, sort of through couch surfing. I met somebody on couch surfing, and in 3 days, boom, I had a job. And this, if you're open, you don't have to be stuck to like a scenario, one type of script. You could sort of go with the flow. And sometimes it's bad because you couldn't go too much with the flow, you don't do the things that you want to do. But a lot of times for me, it ends up beautiful experience and something unexpected. And sometimes it's like, a lot of times it's more than you hoped for. Sometimes it really, just trusting the universe, you know, because I start to believe that the universe wants what's best for you. And it really sometimes tries to guide you, and you think you're having troubles and problems, but these problems are actually there to push you in a different direction for some reason. And
I remember one expression in Russian. They say, if you want to make the god laugh, show him your plans.
Yeah, show him your plan. And I've made a lot of big plans before. I was a girl with a lot of ambition, like big plans, and then they didn't happen, and I was like, okay, I guess I have no other choice just to go with the flow.
So you already made the god laugh.
He's laughing for sure. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should laugh with him. Like, you know, because our human perception of what is good for us is very sort of limited. We maybe the God or universe has another plan for us, much better plan than what we think is possible, because maybe sometimes we limit what we can be or what we should be or our potential, but our true potential is still unexplored. Or and for example, I've never
I agree.
expected to be in the Balkans. And for me, it's really interesting.
I call that destiny.
It is destiny, in a way, but you kind of have to maybe do some small moves once in a while to make this destiny happen. You actually have to go and buy a ticket, you know. Maybe you have to go and meet somebody through couch surfing for these things to happen, because if you just sit home,
register in the website, like there's other websites similar to couch surfing also.
Oh really? Well, for me, I love couch surfing. I don't know. And it's enough because for example, my stepbrother, he got married to a girl we met in Ukraine, in a bar for couch surfing meeting. And they lived in Vancouver, they got married, and I think now they're in Argentina or something. And you don't know where life will take you, you know?
By the way, what are your plans about the YouTube channel? You said that maybe
I will.
Maybe you can tell.
Let's see how you respond to this. Would you like? Yes, if you guys want me to do episode on something, I'll do it.
Okay. People will
it would
write
be my
in the
first
comments.
time, because you're actually pretty inspiring. You know?
But you already had an Instagram page with 10,000 followers.
Yes.
And I mean, you are almost ready to do that.
Yes, I did have 10,000 followers on Instagram, but
and you already have a name, the same name.
Travel with Jules. Yes,
Travel with Jules. And the website.
Yes.
Everything is ready for that.
I just had a little burned out, and I wanted to stay somewhere and maybe do some e-commerce or learn a sort of a skill that I could do, a job that I could do while traveling. And so I started to do something different. But travel is my passion. I don't even call it travel anymore, because I just live. You know, you come to a country and you live there. You don't just visit. And this question, for example, how many countries did you visit? You can visit let's say I don't know, 80 countries. But if you just come from the airport, go to the most Instagrammable places, and you take pictures for Instagram, and you are there just in these hot spots. You haven't really experienced the country.
You didn't learn
but if you live somewhere, for example, for me in Morocco, I was really interested in the local culture and the difference, because it's such a different culture from my culture, where I was born, let's say in Russia, or where I was in the States, you know. It's totally different perception, and it definitely challenged my worldview, and I left as a different person with a different perspective, you know, especially and Muslim culture and just traditions and people and
for example, you understood that the stereotypes, for example, about Muslim people is not right also.
Well, stereotypes, stereotypes and the complexity, people lose nuance, for example. You know, in Morocco, for example, there is Darija, but then there's people who speak Amazigh, and there's I think 4 or 5 main Amazigh languages, and you think you're just going to Morocco and it's just maybe Arabic or something. No, and there is so much more, and these cultures, any culture, sort of country you dig deep, you will find out that there is a huge amount of diversity, interesting things to learn, different cultures, different people, and within that country, people different, are different, but at the same time, we're all the same. We all just want happiness for ourselves. We want to be in comfort. We want to be loved and respected, and everybody wants the same thing. So we're not that different, and we want happiness for our families, for our friends, and it's the same thing. We're not different at all.
Yeah, we are not different.
Same but different. My favorite expression. Same but different.
That would be a good message to end with.
Yes.
And I hope people will get it and will learn from
and don't be afraid. And especially as a female travel people I was discouraged to go to Morocco, for example, and I'm so happy I did, because and now I'm here. I could tell you that you should, and you should go and travel as girls, and maybe you are not comfortable at first, but you will. Even if you feel shy, because at first I felt shy, I couldn't make eye contact in the first 2 weeks. I was traveling by myself. I was a bit shy, and after 2 weeks, That's it. I was a game changer. If somebody tried, for example, to intimidate me, that's it. That's not happening. I will stare back. Yeah, I learn. And you learn so fast because it's your survival. And the best workout for your brain is actually moving to a different country and then like learning a different language, because your whole structure of the brain adjusts. And when you move into a different place, you have to adjust to everything new, like the money, the culture, the language, the everything, the food. And you end up sort of not stretching yourself, but sort of expanding yourself. You know, you become more like you're not so limited, and then
more human, you can say.
Actually, yes, it does help with being more human because you are not so fooled by stupid news, like a mainstream news that to me seems to divide us. That's a great point. I agree with you. You know, because they seem to divide us. And we are not. We are the people, and we all sort of just want to be happy. And that's it. That's the bottom line.
So the other thing, we leave about you as a mystery, because in Russia they say like the woman should be a mystery. And let people follow you in Instagram. I will put in the link in the description.
That would be cool.
Move to her website.
And let's see how the response to this one is, and if it's good.
And waiting for your good response. And maybe she will come. You will come back to my channel again.
Oh yes, because it's such a, it's like so easy. I don't know, like so. Relaxing, just talk about your life.
I have some experience in interviewing people.
Yeah, it's really good. I feel like super nice. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for watching. Bye.